To the open forum special presentation of a poetry jam. We're here at Bolton North Apartments, and we do this every Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month, where we share our poetry. We extend our branches out for you to bring in your memories to share with us. The first piece I want to do tonight is one of my signature pieces. And I'll begin with, the conjoining of spiritual minds give rise to the unification of the divine movement into the oneness we've been called to create. And that is us. We are poetry. And it is my manifest destiny to bring back your childhood memories of when a caress was innocent. Love was genuine and meaningful, and a kiss said more than words. So take my mouth into yours. Taste its sweetness. Does it remind you of the essence of honeysuckle, freshly picked from the vine? Filling your mouth with all that is good about being alive. Take my voice into your ears. Consider its greatness and feel its gentleness as you experience the uniqueness of my poetry. Take my heart into yours. Consider its power and that it could bestow so much compassion in such a small space. Thank you. My next piece I want to do, and you all love this, is always dedicate this piece to Black women. I am Black womanness, mother of the universe, the essence of motherhood, the soul of the Black man, the inspiration of Black children, the backbone of Black life. I am beautiful. You see before you the epitome of Black womanness, all the cosmetics, dye plans, jerry curls, and Caucasian features could never make me more beautiful than I am now. I'm wisdom, I'm comfort, I'm joy. Head naughty, nose snotty, barefoot, and always with that wet spot on the belly from washing dishes, but still, I hold the key to happiness. My hair is not for running your fingers through, but soft, like that of a lamb, filling your nostrils with the sweet smells of the day's toils and tears. My cherry black eyes like dark pools, deep and mysterious, pulling you down inside of me until you and I are one. Full, succulent lips, warm and moist and inviting, filling your mouth with a honey sweet taste that lingers inside your mind. You're so wide, full hips, built for bearing Black children. Wide, full hips built for swaying to the rhythms of Black love, and I'm always hungry for you. But hungry for a better life, one of which I'm deserving, because you see, I possess all those things that come from paradise. So there's no need to look for what only I can give. Thank you. So what I'd like to have happen at this point is have someone else speak, if they care to, share a poem or a thought or a story, because poetry is us. The way we move, we are who we have become in our lifetime. So if you have something that you would like to share, I would like you to step to the mic, if you will. You know, years ago I was going by the stage name in my poetry venue as Miss Ann Thrope. And so people got it, but they didn't understand because I'm such a personable person, so you can't believe that I didn't like people. But there was a time when I didn't like people. So I wrote this little piece, and it's just a short piece. So while you're looking, I'm going to share this because I'm working on my book. My name is Miss Ann Thrope, and I find it most difficult to cope with all the insanity lying before me. I've almost given up hope. They say I'm a man-hater, although it's true, I just won't cater, and won't stop telling me to wait until later. Because always being told that I would never succeed, too much injustice, prejudice, and greed, and now you want to steal my seed. Constantly told to stay in my place, and the constant invasion of my space. Well, that's not going to happen because I'm free, and only God can determine my destiny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, but I'm rewriting stuff. So is there anyone who is willing to, who is prepared to do or share? Jean, would you like to come up?
This one is by Nikki Giovanni from her book called A Good Cry. The poem is called A Poem for Joanne. A poem for Joanne all the time.
All the time.
It's usually cold in winter, things rest. People go to the West Indies to bathe in the sun. The fish in my pond go deep and don't come back until spring. But spring blooms everything, and reds, and lots of babies. I have to be very careful backing out of my garage not to hurt kittens or squirrels who have only recently been born. They all like the sun, and so do I. Sitting on my deck, grilling, having a glass of cheap champagne, listening to jazz that's as old as I am, smiling at the flowers, then autumn sneaks up on us. I watch the trees wrap around themselves, the flowers fold back into the seeds. All the little animals find places to sleep for the coming winter. But I'm lucky. Friendship doesn't have a season. Joanne is there smiling no matter what the weather. She is there, wishing me well, no matter the season. Friendship is all the time. I'm so glad she's always my friend.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Do we have anyone else that would like to recite at this time?
I'll do one.
Okay.
Collective biographies, African American poets. And what I'm about to do is way down in the music. I get way down in the music, down inside the music. I let it wake me, take me, spin me around and make me. I get down. Inside, in the sound of the Jackson 5. Into the tune of earth, wind, and fire. Down in the bass, where the beat comes from. Down in the horn, down in the drum. I get down. I get down. I get way down the music. Down inside the music, I let it wake me, take me, spin me around and shake me. I get down. I get down.
All right, Joe.
How low can you go?
Absolutely. That was a great rendition of that, Joanne, for you to just pick it up.
Couldn't hear.
Yes.
She went so far down and couldn't hear.
Oh, she was down there so far, I almost went down there. I have a piece since we're making dedications.
Gee, that was so sweet.
That was sweet. We're having dedications. I wrote this piece a long time ago. I've always been politically active and community active, and there was a time when they used to at Johns Hopkins, I think they still do it, where they run these speaker series. And back in the day, in the early 70s, I got to meet James Baldwin and Maya Angelou at the same time. I'll never forget her as long as I live. She touched my face, told me I was a handsome woman, and that I was special. And I always felt that way. I fell in love with her that day. She has a presence. Believe me, she's 6 feet, she passed on, but she was 6 feet tall, big woman, stately, and like I said, when she entered the room, Maya Angelou entered the room. And I got to meet her twice, so God was good that I got to see her while she was alive. So I wrote this after I met her. And it was called To You, Maya. She was a tall, stately lady in a majestic sort of way. And as she stood before me, I felt overshadowed by her presence. She was beautiful in a very profound way. She had been through much, she said. She had overcome much, this we knew. I admire her. I'm inspired by her. I've never had a role model before, and I don't think she ever thought she would ever be one. At least I don't think she started out to be one, but she is, and good at it too. I love to watch her perform. She stands proud, confident, statuesque, and magnificently majestic, denoting the queen that she is. She exudes royalty, and she possesses a beauty so rare, a beauty that transcends the physical plane to the surreal. This tribute is to you, Maya Angelou. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, I fell in love with the woman that day. Is there someone else? Miss Emma? Not tonight, Miss Emma? Miss Emma had a nice last week. Miss Armay. Miss Armay, you gonna stand?
No.
You gonna stay right there?
Yes.
You gonna stay right there?
This is Simon the Syrian speaks. He never spoke a word to me, and yet he called my name. He never gave a sign to me, and yet I knew he came. At first I said, I will not bear his cross upon my back. He only seeks to place it there because my skin is black. But he was dying for a dream, and he was very meek, and in his eyes there shone a gleam men journey far to see. It was himself my pity brought. I did for Christ alone. But what all of Rome could have, flesh and stone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Miss Armay. It's ready to get her to do stuff, so I'm really excited.
Is it on?
Yes, oh, the mic,
Yeah, I went to get this book.
just slide it across.
Thank you.
All right, there's another piece of in here I want to share. I guess you guys know about all the gun shooting and explosions and the kids and all this. If you all remember the Baltimore, Washington sniper, I never promoted it before, but I had an opinion about it, and it still seems to be, and I guess you all know when that happened, at least 15 years ago or more. So I wrote this piece about the sniper, but it could apply to any of the other ones that are out there doing crazy stuff like him. Okay. I just want to see if I've never done it publicly before. I'm not justifying what the brother did, even in his corruption of the kid. But how many of us have suppressed rage, feeling like you're locked in a cage on this God-forsaken stage called America? America's been sniping for decades, picking us off one by one in their escapades, to continually instill fear in us, coercive suspicion and mistrust. I'm not justifying his madness. The pain he caused so much sadness. There never is a reason to kill anyone, but this is a product of what America has done. And they taught him how to use that gun. However it went, he was crying out. America claimed they don't know what about him. And he ain't saying, but they'll dig up his past to find out why he became an outcast. You must begin to understand the history under the tutelage of old with William Lynch directing our steps, making the black man feel inept, causing him to show his fears, oppressing him for years and years. However, it doesn't justify his killing. Others need not suffer because America is unyielding. We're all frustrated and enraged, filled with anxiety, sometimes feeling enslaved by the greed and the covetousness of those unwilling to address the real issues, tired of being stressed and misused. The anger we project towards people unknown will not change what's going down. We need to get a perspective on life in America and diminish the seeds that make want to commit murder. However, there's no excuse for what he did. Killing another is hard to forgive. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty and define why things have become so shitty among black folks within the city. And how many of us have to go crazy and recognize that we're not lazy. All the plans and schemes to take away our American dreams and then tell us we can't be redeemed for our suffering. But that still doesn't justify what the brother did. I'm sorry he felt he had to and that he was a cad to hurt the innocent, the lives that were spent, and he was helped to get his message read. So my heart goes out to the families. Thank you. So, as you can see, things haven't changed very much in America. People are still frustrated and oppressed and, hands tied. So anyway, on that note, we want to come up with something positive. So, who wants to read next?
I'll read.
Alrighty.
This is a poem by Maya Angelou. It shows her softer, romantic side in late October.
Okay.
Carefully, the leaves of autumn sprinkle down the tiny sound of little dimes. The sky shattered of ruddy sunsets. The rosettes dawn, roll ceaselessly in the cobwebs, grows gray and turn to black for comfort. Only lovers see the fall. A signal ends of endings, a gruffish gesture alerting those who will not be alarmed that we begin to stop in order to begin.
Okay, thank you. Take that. Okay. As always, I'm looking for new stuff. I want you all to begin to be comfortable and try to make this part of your agenda during the month. We only do this once a month, the last Wednesday, no matter if it's the 5th Wednesday of the month. Be prepared to work on some projects. Like again, I'm hoping to have someone come in who offered to teach creative writing. So not only will you just write poetry, but you can write short stories. I'm always writing little stuff. This one's too long, but I have a section on my book where I like to say, called My Opinion Everything, Not That You Give a Damn. So, we can talk about anything. For example, after 9/11, I wrote this little thing in here. about race. I guess America is looking into people's faces with a little more scrutiny these days, especially since they have to trust the people they are working with. And it's been a while since I heard the expression, "they all look alike" to me, when referring to someone not of the same race. And since Americans are such a pretentious race of people, but it seems reality is finally sinking in. And since they can now discern a Pakistani from an Afghani, from a Turkish man, from a Peruvian, ironically, these people have similarity, color, hair texture, and so on. How do they know that they are not working hand in hand with a terrorist? Who are they to discern whom we should trust? They don't even trust God. We're having enough difficulty trusting in America, and I really can only speak for myself. America has been a lie since its fruition. America is a liar and in denial about the truth of what it represents. America is, her bowels are funky, filthy. She needs a cleaning out. She's been eating the same crap for years. This 9/11 has been a wake-up call to let America know her mess is fouling up the earth and everything she touches. Maybe she can appreciate looking into the people's faces and taking the time to get to know other people's cultures and mores. America is creating too many enemies and becoming a bully. And who are they to say the American way to live is the only way to live? The beauty of America is its diverse cultures that culminated into what is good about America. America fostered the treatment they receive because they're such deceivers. They're so pontificate in their actions that they cannot believe that another culture can outwit, outmaneuver, and outsmart them. Americans are so filled with themselves that they feel they've invented everything, even life itself. Duh. And I wrote that right after 9/11, so that goes to show you that things haven't changed very much. And that was 17 years ago. So, Joanne, did you want to share another one? Or you want, you ready?
Mhm.
Okay, come on
Or
up.
can you go back up? Yeah.
Come on up.
I can't do it from here.
No, come on.
Another Nikki Giovanni poem from a good book. It's called Black Lives Matter.
Just go.
I'm not ashamed about history because I know there's more to come. I'm not ashamed of slavery, neither bought nor sold, because I know there's another answer. I'm not ashamed of dark or light skin, straight, curly, or nappy hair. Let's call it that, hair. I'm not ashamed of thick or thin lips, nor that time we waste singing and dancing. We taught the white folks to sing and dance too. I'm proud of Simon, of Serene. Nobody made them. Help Jesus, he did his part. I'm proud of the woman who mourned on the ship at the 10th day for admitting if not defeat, then certainly change. I'm proud of the rappers who rap. And more especially, I'm proud of that. Black Lives Matter. We honestly do.
Amen. Yes, and they're running around like Black Lives Matter statement is something brand new. As you can see, it's not. It's been around, and all lives should matter for real. That's my philosophy. That's who I am.
Exactly.
All lives should matter, and when they don't, it breaks my heart. Anyone else? I don't want to, I don't want to dominate this. I really want to be the catalyst for this. Okay.
Okay, this is also out of American African poets, and it is also by Nikki Giovanni, and it's from Knoxville, Tennessee. And she says, I always like summer best. You can eat fresh corn from Daddy's garden, and okra, and greens, and cabbage, and lots of barbecue, and buttermilk, and homemade ice cream at the church picnic, and listen to the gospel music outside. at the church homecoming and go to the mountain with your grandmother and go barefooted and be warm all the time. Not only when you go to bed and sleep.
That's beautiful. That's what I mean about poetry. The beauty of poetry is the fact that you can be anywhere or go anywhere, or it can take you to a nice and peaceful space. Or you can vent. You know what I mean? Let stuff that bothers you, spit it out and share it. And you'll find that you're not alone. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for coming. Been a wonderful experience. And I just want to say good night to all of you who joined us this evening at the Open Forum Special Poetry Jam. So good night. See you the next time.
My name is Dr. J. Pistoswell. We are Team Juxtopia Imhotep from Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Team Juxtopia Imhotep is comprised 100% of students. Most of the students are from the city, Baltimore City, Maryland. The students' age ranges from middle school, high school, as well as college-age youth. Currently, we have 5 students. The advantages of having a student team is that, one, they're hungry. They really want to do something that's very innovative, think outside the box. The pure innovation, eagerness, and the propensity to learn is there. The disadvantage is that they do not have the experience as a seasoned professional. The work with the Google Lunar X Prize Challenge has definitely influenced our work with Juxtopia Imhotep. There can be crossover technologies from the Google Lunar X Prize competition to the Qualcomm Tricorder Challenge, specifically in the sensing technologies. Matter of fact, our 16-year-old student, the youngest student on the Google Lunar X Prize team, came up with her own spectrometer design to be integrated into the robot and identify water on the lunar surface. My mother was an educator, my father was a social worker. I'm the only child, so they put a lot into me to engineer the person that's talking to you today. Had a great experience growing up and was exposed to so many things that I think contributed to my intellectual, social ability, and providing that same experience for other youth that otherwise would have had that in their own family. I think it's a contribution that all of us should think about making, especially creating the next generation of youth that should be better than the previous generation.
Massachusetts. Winning the X Challenge by Nokia has been wonderful for us because it actually helped bring us out of stealth mode. For over 20 years, my own research has been at the intersection of nano, bio, and physics, and the tricorder represents the synthesis of not only the nanosensors like we've developed in the Nokia X Challenge, but the integration of that into a platform. My parents had emigrated from India. I was born in Massachusetts, and when I was 3, we moved down to this little rural town called Prentice, Mississippi. And on the one hand, I loved physics and mathematics, and on the other hand, my dad's a surgeon, so I used to spend a lot of time with him in the operating room. And by the time I was 8, I thought I was already an MD. In a lot of the traditional medical diagnostics, they're more based by the disease system or the infection or the target, and less by an underlying principle of diagnosis. What we're doing in my company at NanoBioSim is we are actually building a next generation platform for that kind of diagnosis, the same gold standard, but in a mobilized platform that enables you to
Thank you.